Yo, 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 what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Greek coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. Give you guys some tuning in. First things first, hopefully everybody having a blessed Wednesday evening. Hopefully everybody smoothly got through the day. Hopefully your kids got through the school day. Those celebrating birthdays this week, hopefully you're enjoying your birthday week as always. You know, another year, another blessing, mostly. Popcorn, what's going on, my guy? And again, get out there and make the memories that are needed. So enjoy another year of, you know, positive growth and true blessing. Appreciate everybody that tuned in yesterday for the conversation. Definitely was one that was needed. And again, always knocking down some points. For those who missed it, catch the replay. I want to speak again and reiterate on something again for some of you young folks out there. I forgot before I go left. Maritza, baby. Serious, baby. Again, happy Wednesday to everybody that's pulling in. Um, Again, some of y'all actually putting yourself out there as hanging fruit for no reason. You're on the verge of reaching newer and bigger heights. James, what's going on, my guy? Susanna, baby. Jared, what's going on, my guy? I see you up in here. Some of y'all are on the verge of climbing new heights, creating new lasting memories, a greater and stronger threshold. And because, again, you don't want to play a position at a certain point, you feel it's necessary to put yourself out there. Now, again, if you're licensed to have something, cool. But again, if it's not needed, why bring it? You know? See, again, it comes down to some of the politics that, again, sending young people to the grave now or sending them to jail for life. You don't have to prove to everybody or prove to a select group of people that if you have to take care of business, you'll take care of it. But essentially, it's getting out of pocket because, again, you got people who are just scared to fight. Not gonna lie to you. Tamika, baby, they really are scared to fight and just hash out their differences the old fashioned way. I gotta basically be on that level of trying to take you out just because I gotta prove to people I don't like you or that I stand on business. There's ways to take care of certain situations without it getting too, far to danger or put you in the ultimate danger anyway, because you're in danger of basically stopping your brand. You're basically on the verge of self-destructing before you even really made a conscious effort to build. Again, start thinking. You don't have to go all the way out your bag, basically, to mess up your bag. You got to learn when to basically bite and when not to bite. It's sad that you really can't have constructive growth when you got the nonsense that is plaguing everybody. Everybody's trying to come up. Everybody trying to be one step ahead of each other instead of saying, you know what, we could come together, build together on the same notion. See, in certain instances, uh, it shouldn't matter about where you from, what set you claim, so on and so forth. And I'm just saying in general, it should never have to come to that. It should be more focused on what are we going to do to make sure we keeping certain things under wraps, making sure we ain't repeating the same cycles that are sending them to early grade, sending them to early casket, or just sending them on the road of not being able to ever get over the hump. 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. You got to think about that. Um, it solely relies on not just what being taught in the background or in the homes. It's more about how far beyond the reach can you get to somebody. If you can get to somebody's mind and let them know that this is exactly what they could achieve if they just keep their goals focused and stay solid on the task at hand, hey, they could be the brand. They can end up being that brand. Uh huh. They can be. Reason why I say that is because you gotta look at it. No matter how you decided to raise and do whatever as far as the kids are concerned, again, they have to learn every element aspect of life. Part of that is from you, the parent. Your children are on the verge of making they rise up into some form of not just fortune, but success and opportunity. Especially, they ain't have to do the unnecessary to do it. You are supposed to encourage it. But some of y'all playing a dangerous game and risking your livelihoods again just because you want to prove to the world you're that bad. Bad people don't necessarily have to let it be known that they're bad. You know? A lot of y'all creating and stirring up beef. It's like you was cool at one point and now all of a sudden, your oppositions. But for real, what are y'all actually fighting over? What are y'all actually trying to gain out of the long term goal? In certain instances, a war is never over. It might slack up, It could probably die down for a little bit, but all it takes is a unknown spark, and the situation could turn in the blink of an eye. In certain instances, a war can be won just by being aware, being intelligent, and also knowing how to counteract anything that's coming. Appreciate you for dropping those links, serious baby. But all in all, though, is once you know you're to a certain stance right now, you should have enough common sense to say, you know what, I know what's worth it, I know what's not worth it. Crashing out before you get to your ultimate goal in life, that's not the way to look at it. To be honest with you, you know, you're gaining no momentum when you're sitting behind steel cage. You're not gaining anything. You're stuck sitting there. Most you can do when you behind that wall outside of try to keep yourself in some form of shape and read your books and try to learn something in that law library. Most you can do is if you are really rapping, try to work on your rap, work on your craft, work on your material. If you wasn't doing that, whatever you was doing prior to, you need to focus on that. But this is what I'm saying though. It's time to really start elevating your mindset. Once you get to a certain playing field, now it's time for you to start moving the dice the right way. You know, certain things you're gonna have to be able to just snap away from because again, they can stop your momentum. You know, and again, even if you break ties with people, that don't necessarily mean it should be any form of ill will or whatever. But if you're moving in a different direction than them, again, you have to focus on your direction, your path. Your path is not going to be following behind everybody. Your path is mostly going to be you leading your own way, finding your own way to something. It's the most important tool you should have in your arsenal. You know, everybody's going to have their own road in life that they move. What's important is how you moved in your road in life. What stops you made, what memories you made, key relationships, and everything. The fact that you could sit there and risk your livelihood and your freedom just because you want to be carrying. Look, I granted in certain issues, you're gonna have to carry. You're gonna have to have some form of protection. Because yes, if you're moving about like you say in the streets, you already know what comes with that territory. But even if you ain't moving in that route, you should still have some form of protection and safety because again, you are a known figure now. And again, some of you young folks out there, you only following a specific path because you see that your friends are doing. You see that your family might be doing. You know, or you think it's just cool. But again, you got to know exactly what you're going for. There's a lot of you that don't know exactly what you're banging for. And that's the thing. You got to think about, what's really important. There's some of you who claim that you trying to get yourself out the struggle. You're trying to get your family into a better position. You basically trying to carry the weight to a degree. But again, how can you carry any weight when you making the wrong decisions? You know, you're basically crashing out for no reason. Your focus should be on really targeting the real opposition, the opposition that's keeping you oppressed in your mind and keeping you oppressed within that state of realm. I don't always got to conduct myself in a violent manner or prove in a violent manner that I'm just that person. I got to remember that there's always going to be somebody bigger, better, or even wiser and smarter. You got to remember that again in life, you can't gamble just because you think you got a quote unquote enemy. That quote unquote enemy has to be exterminated just for me to feel like I'm inferior. Yeah. There's other ways again to hash out differences without turning that crazy. And again, risking your safety and your well being. But again, in my opinion, you're being selfish. Wavy, what's going on? What's going on? I go on when I feel like going on, son. I'm coming here with that. I told you. Uncle James, you know what to do with your nephew. Karate chop his ass just in case. I ain't playing that tonight. But again, your real opposition are the people or the systems that are holding you to a certain financial burden, if that's what you want to call it. Again, if it's not that serious, no need for you to plot or even try to risk doing something that you know ain't going to be good for you. Again, that's when emotional awareness and intelligence comes to play. Some of y'all should understand that when it comes to certain situations, and now it's the feds coming in, you ain't gonna be getting out as early, or you're not gonna be getting out like you think you're gonna be getting out. A lot of y'all should understand that, regards to what the laws out here is crazy. And unless you really are part of the force, or you really have that leeway to do so, that brandishing and carrying that, you're gonna learn. Again, if you're not going somewhere where it really is deemed dangerous, and no need for you to carry your protection. If you're amongst safe people, if you're amongst a safe area, you do what's necessary. Keep yourself preserved. And if you know you can't, prime example, have a weapon because you have some form of a felony, then you need to make sure you got people around you who are licensed to carry. I'm not promoting or encouraging nothing, but I understand for some of y'all, you got to do that. You have to, because again, you're moving with a certain reputation. Honestly, some of y'all need to think before you just jump into something. Before you think about, prime example, jumping into that music, you better be making sure that the music you bring in is legit music. It better be something that you living and going by. Some of y'all presenting yourselves like you really are from these forms of scenarios, and you're really not. For some of y'all, yeah, it's supposed to be entertainment, but again, certain fields it ain't gonna be entertainment. Like again, with some of y'all, you flashing what you got, flashing jewelry, flashing things that again would make you a prime target. You're putting yourself out there for certain things to happen. And again, when you know you might be moving around from certain states, even if you're moving you know, within your realms, come on, man. Certain things should not come to a violent halt. That's just like if you really are trying to move away from certain scenarios. Okay, well, you keep focusing on whatever craft you focusing on. If you was dancing, continue to keep doing what you was doing. Keep trying to build and keep trying to maneuver. If you was trying to do music, then again, focus on your craft. Trying to run a business, trying to do certain things along those lines. Again, focus on your goal. And I'm sorry, but some of y'all really just not getting the picture. You can't say you got love for your family, that you willing to do everything you can for a better change, when in that same token you're making careless mistakes. Back and forth to jail for what? Stuff you really ain't even got to go to jail for. You should learn from some of your quote unquote opposition, because look where they at right now. Some of them, they ain't locked up, they done passed on. A grim tale and a grim warning. That's how you claim you want to move and you want to move about in your life, and you should expect the unexpected at all times. Again, once you get to a certain playing field, it's time for you to stop gambling. You know, you basically won. You was in a losing and a dire situation, and found your way to the top. Now it's about trying to stay there. You already moved the chain forward, right? So now it's about staying there. What's important for you to build in your brain. You know, Trying to quote unquote lash out and crash out on your enemies when you trying to take care of business that could be lucrative. That's not the right move, and that's actually kind of immature right there. I'm just being logical because again, you willing to mess up your bag or mess up your future endeavors. Even if you do bump into somebody that you don't like and don't, really have whatever for, save it. Mostly what you all are supposed to do is save that. You know, just remember that you want better, gotta imagine better. Yeah, you can't be the financial bearer for everybody in the family, but you can help the family get into a certain situation. You can help them get into a situation by again being the motivation. Whether you decide to drop a bag on the family or not, you can still be some form of an inspiration for either your younger siblings or relatives who are, within the realms of being within that family. Hey, show them how it's done. Show them that what you got to do is just focus on what you got to focus on, and you can get to the top of the mountain. Never give up on the things that you know for a fact you can achieve. And if there is certain things that you feel is just not working, then again, have a different course of execution plan. Okay, this ain't working. Maybe I could do this. And again, never quit, never give up on yourself. Got time to make things work. See, for some of y'all, it's alluring to just move around in a certain way, but at some point you'll realize the constant back and forth to jail, the constant time that you missing out, and you missing out on great opportunity. Yeah, you might not want to hear it, but it's true. Don't wait until you get a certain age and then really realize, damn, I could have really been in a better position had I just not crashed out for the wrong reason. Again, think about yourself. Think about yourself, and also think about the opportunities you are taking away from your family. But just it's time for some of y'all getting to wisen up. You don't have time to be wasting. You don't have time to be sitting on your ass. Ask yourself, is it really worth losing the majority of your life, missing out on your family's life? You know, there's some of y'all that, it's all said and done, you'll end up doing some time for something you didn't have to do. And when you do get back, you won't realize that things have changed. Because guess what? Some of your peoples might have moved on to other spaces and places in the globe. Some of your peoples might have passed away. And some of your people might just move far away from you. Didi, baby! I already know if y'all just tuned in at the like button. But you'll see that. The more and more you keep wasting, spending time in jail, keep messing up, you don't realize all that time was wasted. Can't get it back. Can't dwell on it either. So I said it's always good to have a different window of opportunity open. And again, some of y'all want to push for this music, but again, your music needs to be what you live, not what you see and not what you're trying to portray. If you know you really ain't out there doing something, then guess what? Your music needs to be from the heart and it needs to be genuine and organic. See, the problem with some people when it comes to the music is that everybody thinks you have to jump into that one genre. No, in certain cases, you can create your own genre. But again, it is solely up to you. Solely up to you how you push that. I'll be honest with you though. If you don't think about the most important and key critical things, a lot of you will fail. Prime example, a lot of you will fail because of your pride and your dignity. Pride and dignity. Oh, and also self entitlement. There's some of y'all who are thinking that, you're entitled to say and do whatever because you are in that space now. You still got to be watchful and be careful of what you're doing. Again, nobody is above that law. And honestly, some of y'all should learn again from the people who were at the top of the hill and they ain't there no more. Just because of emotional reactions that weren't needed. Gotta come to that notion right there again. There's no way you can sit here and say that you are gonna really crash out and risk everything just because. You gotta find something that again keeps you driven, keeps you motivated, and again keep you at a sharp focus. I can increase my brand or I can increase whatever I'm promoting just by me being out there, putting my feet on the ground and doing the work that's needed for it to be done and for it to be something. I can make it to where everybody within the family is going to be able to benefit, have their own, and be able to build their own. And they ain't got to necessarily worry about me. You know, I can get it to where I can split this bag and then still do what I need to promote, to keep growing and elevating. Again, certain beefs are not needed. Certain beefs ain't worth it. And if again it's not serious the way it has to come to violence like that, especially gun violence, leave well enough alone. You have another day to live. You got family to look out after. You know, in certain instances, you have people who, the minute they got what they were supposed to get, or the minute they got something that was a blessing, basically, they didn't know how to take it. They didn't know how to receive it, and lost their minds. Can't crash out when you finally get to the main destination. Once you get there, you should see what everything is fitting for and what it's hitting for. And then that's when you make the necessary adjustments and steps in your life. Like again, if you got a family already, you can't leave them out here for dead. Can't leave them out here stranded on stuff. You know, that wasn't your purpose on building that family structure in the first place. So no matter what field you in, yeah, you want to keep everything as solid as possible. Let me make sure that the steps I'm making is not going to affect me. It's not going to affect my kids. It's not going to affect my wife. Anything. I want to be able to do as needed, and in the same token, watch everything flourish the way it's supposed to flourish. That should be the goal and execution for real. You know, in order for me to break whatever cycle I feel has been a continuous cycle within the bloodline or within the family, I gotta change. I gotta change what's needed. I gotta see a better and clearer view. And when I get to that view, okay, I know how to achieve what I need to achieve, and I'm ready for next stages. You know, work hard and play hard. Got to give yourself that balance as well too. For some of y'all that claim you trying to really make it, you really have to put your feet on the ground, and that means elevating on all aspects, learning different venues and ventures. You know, again, getting yourself in a placed position to where even if the one thing you was mostly trying to drive for doesn't work, you have something else that's gonna bring you even more possibilities and endless options. Cool gamer, what's going on? Again, you got to see yourself excelling at something. It shouldn't be, I'm just going to do whatever I do. I don't plan on living forever. Shouldn't be that type of mentality. I'm willing to crash out, lose whatever, just because. Nah, you got to envision yourself doing something more constructive than just trying to prove you're a street cat. Got to definitely want better. It's not about just having the flashiest clothes or flyest cars or the biggest houses. Because that's what some of y'all got that mindset on. That's all life is about. Really ain't. Life is about creating and sustaining the best memories for a generation. Building and growing in the best light. So again, even down the future roads, everybody is legit. Everybody is good. Putting something within that family tree and that bloodline the way again everybody could take bits and pieces off of it and build their own and do their own. Giving the goals and blueprints. It's mostly what it should be focusing on. Goals and blueprints. Showing them how to do things so when it comes to a certain time, when they can sit down, relax for a minute, and they can afford to do it. You don't necessarily have to be retired to sit back and enjoy certain ventures of life. You just gotta know what you really are into, or what you're interested in. Some people are feeling like they're gonna be lucrative working independently. Cool. But again, you still gotta put in the footwork. You gotta put in them hours, prime example. And if you're putting in the hours for all the right reasons, then again, you're focusing on the main goals. You know, for some people, you say you want to be in this field, but you got to realize when it's time for you to shoot these videos and do these interviews and do everything that's needed, if you're not fully prepared to go, you'll sit back into an uncertain corner. Again, you want to stand out. You want to stand out, not crash out. You want to let it be known that you came from close to nothing and with sheer work, determination, and just humble beginnings, you made it happen. You didn't necessarily have to take out your brother or sister. You didn't necessarily have to scam or scheme your way to anything. You put in the blood, sweat, and tears to make everything happen. Now it's time to slowly reap the benefits and enjoy those benefits. You know, place some form of certainty within the family tree. Set up trust and funds, especially when you know you got kids and you know you can do it. Hey, it's going to be necessary because just in case of anything, hey, at least you know they settled in, they straight. It's there for them basically. You know, and some of you who refuse to be consistent. In certain cases, you're gonna have to be consistent. How else are you gonna be able to get past some of these life hurdles if you're not consistent? If you're not determined on fighting, you gotta raise an awareness within yourself, and you gotta raise that fighting spirit. There's no time limits on certain things in life. No time limits because again, if you able to still function and do it, you can do it. Some people might not get into their field or might not find their purpose until they get into a certain age. But if you're one of the lucky ones who are able to get yourself in a great position, and if that's the position that's best suiting you, hey, keep everything on the up and up. Keep grinding and keep accelerating. Push yourself to great limits. Also, give yourself some time to fall back when you need to, reassess everything, and then from there you come back. That's just like prime example. You know, a person is not going to put out music every day, not unless they really are driven to do so. We've had some artists, prime example, who were driven to do certain things like that. I'm dropping more than 3, 4 tracks a day. Or if I feel like I could go for the gusto and I got the studio time to do it, I'm gonna drop as many songs as possible and just come back tomorrow and do whatever, or come back on another day, studio session, and finish off what I got to finish off. And that's great. You know, if you were putting out great music and it's not rushed, it actually sounds like something, then you already know where you're going from there. But again, you still have to be consistent. And there are some people who are just that passionate, and they are that dedicated that hey, they putting out music left and right. Some of it is making a wave, some of it still got time to make a wave. You know, but again, you got to remember you have to push yourself to those limits. And again, don't crash out just because you think you got quote unquote enemies and you feel you got to make them an example. And honestly, some of y'all need to refrain from certain elements and aspects of life, especially again when you trying to move forward. There's some people who have done it successfully. They managed to move from what they were doing to doing bigger and greater things. Some people had to learn the hard way. Some people had to catch some form of tragedy for it to be a change. But for others, it was just the wise thing to do. James number 8, what's going on? Again, you gotta see yourself as a valued treasure. You gotta be the driving force behind your success, behind your vision, behind everything. You have to be that driving force. If not, you want to drive yourself off a cliff. Again, you got to know when to sit back, tune up, tune in, and then get right back on the road. In certain fields of play, battlefield will change. You know, prime example, when it does come to musical climate, the climate will always change because what's hot right now might not be hot down the road. And the things that weren't deemed as hot are starting to make a comeback. You know, like give or take, you know, you have to be solid in your decision. Again, for those who are pursuing music, the music better be as legit as possible. Don't create a facade and think that certain things are not going to happen. But again, don't crash out just because. You have time. The people who you deem enemies, ops, and all that other shit ain't really your damn ops. You choosing them to be ops because you have a better chance at fighting that fight than actually fighting the real opposition. See, I think I'm starting to break some of this situation down. Some of it is not about what's not being taught at home. It's about the awareness that's not being taught as a whole. Again, somebody got to let me know what exactly are you supposed to gain from sitting behind bars for a portion of your life. What are you gaining out of that? Again, you're going to see that shit. Some of y'all going to realize it too. And I'm sorry to say to be rude about it to a degree in certain situations. There's some of y'all who probably don't put yourselves in a predicament right now, or almost put yourselves in a predicament. The minute you do, guess what? Your girl ain't gonna be your girl no more. Your peoples ain't gonna be your peoples no more. You gotta think about it. You're gonna sit behind bars. Guess what? If you don't have money like that, you ain't got no commissary. So you're not eating good. In certain prison systems, you be lucky if you get 2 meals a day. You don't have the luxury of certain things. And to be honest, I really want to ask who really wants to be told when to wake up, when to shower, when to eat, when to go for rent. Like certain things like that. Like, come on now. That's not no way to live. Being told when to go to bed, lights out. And you have to have lights out. Come on now. It's the reverse thinking. I gotta prove that I'm this person in this image or suffer embarrassment. And then some of y'all really are not about that. So again, why go down that route and that choice if that's not what you live? You can't rap about shooting and killing somebody when you never shot and killed nobody. Sorry to say it. Can't talk about robbing and scamming if you never even done any of that. You know, and the sad part about this series is again, you just glorifying your downfall more than anything, not being reasonable. Here it is, you could be in a greater position than what you are right now. But because you want to move in that element, instead of saying, you know what, this is more important than me trying to get a fast one, me trying to get a fast come up. Again, some of y'all have to learn to follow your own road, follow your own destination. And if you want to pave a way or make a way for something, okay, well, guess what? You know what comes with that. You have to be able to prepare and face all forms of, you know, all forms of climates. Because guess what? Like I said, the sound can be changing. Prime example for someone who really are going for that music tip. The sound's changing right now. Sounds will consistently change because again, there's too many different genres that are getting mixed within that realm. In my opinion, and I'm not trying to sound funny, but after a while, some of that drill sound is going to be gone. So what's going to be the next wave and the next sound? You never know. At certain points, I feel like music will revert back to what it once was. So that means you really had to be in, you had to really be synced in. You really had to be writing something constructive. You had to write something that the people understood. You had to have cadence, flow, and all of that. You got to get back to that. And not the ABC raps, like some of y'all would try to say. No, no, no. We're talking about actually spit, actually saying something within the message of the song. Whether your song was 3 minutes, 2 minutes, you had to have said something within that time frame. 4 minutes, hey, you had to have said something. And I think that's what's going to happen. So for some of y'all youngins that are stuck within a certain genre of music, um, just remember you can create your own, but again, you got to be solid in what you're doing and what you're bringing. It has to have consistency. Definitely has to have validity and substance. In certain instances, that's almost a form of bringing content. Be original and be creative. You know, there's some people who just follow a blueprint, and then everybody starts following it. No, create your own blueprints. Be unique in how you bring what you bring. Sometimes you got to be unafraid to step out the box. Again, it's more about knowing what you really want. You know, you should want to keep your freedom. Definitely shouldn't want to be behind no bars and not being able to help out those who you need to help out, or being around those who need the help. You know, once you got into a certain point in the road, the decisions you make from there on out It could be costly depending on what you do and how you do it. Again, I would say be yourself no matter what you're doing as far as the music is concerned. Be yourself. You don't necessarily have to betray your image for the people to resonate and grow with you. Stop putting yourself under the microscope, putting your peoples under the microscope. Because again, once it's all said and done, guess what? Majority of you are not going to be coming back home to your families right off the rip, especially if certain things does become federal. You're more likely going to do 15 to 25, depending on what you're doing and how you're doing things. And again, the most selfish act you can do is leave your family out here dry and stuck. There's some people who probably can take care of family even while indoors, but guess what? Shouldn't have to go through all of those different scenarios and situations just to make sure the family good, just to make sure bills are paid, just to make sure that the kids are getting proper whatever. Shouldn't take that. When you have the opportunity again to put yourself in a better position and put everybody within your realm in a greater position, why mess that up? Split decision and the wrong split decision could be a definite downfall for you. Best course of action, at least in my opinion, again, is just think about yourself. Really value yourself. Acknowledge the fact that you have made it past a certain stage in your life. Embrace the fact that you are on the greater and better things. Don't be scared of it. Some of y'all crash out because you're scared to see how far you could really be. You're scared to see how great you can be and how far you can really push yourself. Never settle for less. Oh, oh, no, you're not. No, good try though. Good try though. See, this is where you're supposed to have emotional awareness and intelligence, because people like this will try to drive you out of your character. It just goes to show you again. Some people just gonna have to cut away from. Some people you don't necessarily have to give energy to. And when it's all said and done, again, ain't that serious the way you have to take it there. Don't take it there. Focus on your family and focus on your goals. Oh, wait a minute, my fault. I was supposed to give you the 2 for 2 today. Came in here twice. Came in here twice.
Motherfucker.
One more again. Oh man. But yeah, just remember that part. For some of you young men and women out there, especially those who claim you trying to get on that music scene, just know you gonna be under the watchful eye. And again, Don't put yourself in a precarious position the way you're not going to be able to elevate in your position. Your main goal is to sustain and obtain the things that are needed. Better build for better future endeavors. Have to keep your mind sharp and focused. Keep putting together the right pieces. Don't rush, but don't spend too much time neither. And again, just remember that part too. Never hold yourself back. Certain things you might not want to put out there right away, but you're going to have to. You're going to have to put it out right away because guess what? Those situations right there will bring you to a greater stand. It'll bring you to that goal that you've been looking forward to. And now you'll be able to reap the benefits the right way. Another thing I was going to bring up, and I'm still going to delve into that part right there too, about awareness. Yeah, visual awareness, especially within your surroundings. Going to reiterate on that too. Part of it is because of what I covered yesterday about the train situation and the body cam footage. Some of it is from a story from a couple years ago. Some of y'all might have remembered 3 people were stabbed, 2 people were killed on a train because somebody was in an uproar. Somebody basically had a mental relapse and went crazy on the train. Now, for some of y'all, anytime you have a situation where people are again blurting out racial slurs, they're doing certain things that you know for a fact is downright dangerous and detrimental, not just to themselves, but the people around. Gotta assess the situation. Gotta always remember that part too. You know, if the reason why 2 of those people lost their lives, almost 3 losing their lives, because they was trying to protect 2 young women who were being accosted by a whole grown man. And at the end of the day, let's understand this. When you have people like that who are moving around, you have to be careful. And if you're going to stand on principles and you're going to stand on what's right, then again, you have to make sure you assess the situation right before you just jump into it. But even then, there should have been more than a few people trying to stop that situation at hand. That's why I said in certain instances, you just got to know when and when not to. In that instance, technically everybody was supposed to be on it because, again, these are children, these are young teens. They shouldn't be getting persecuted about their religion, none of that shit. Especially during the wee hours of the day. You know, now it's important to have all forms of visuals and safety protocols, even when there isn't cops on board. You know, see if everybody would have stood up collectively, those 2 lives don't get lost. Those 3 people don't get stabbed. You know, when you know there's certain situations that could present a danger, especially if you are using mass transit, the safety protocols and get that person up out of there before it becomes deadly or before it becomes a problem. And then in that token right there, after he done did what he did, he almost still went on a rampage trying to cut and stab. Luckily, nobody else got cut and stabbed. It's just the principles. You gotta be aware and be prepared. Like I said, with the growing problems that's happening within the United States, no matter where you at some point you're gonna have to be prepared and ready to react. You know, it's sad that it's come to that point, but again, for the safety and the preservation of you and yours, you're gonna have to do what's necessary. And this is what I'm saying. I start being more unified no matter what. No matter what the cause of the situation, we got to stay unified. But yeah, and that notion right there didn't have to go that far. But again, when you see things like that happening on that magnitude, yeah, you got to stand in and do what's necessary for real. Again, knowing when to strike and knowing when not to strike, and knowing when to be a cooler head and let certain things prevail the way it's supposed to prevail. Never know what's written. Again, you just gotta know, be prepared for the unexpected. You know, and not just in you know, not just in mass transit. That could be anywhere. You know, start bringing more visual awareness at events. Especially events that could be for communities, families. Again, start bringing that visual awareness where things look out of pocket and look too far off. Got to know what to do from there. But I granted, some people are going to be scared because they not going to really want to be involved, or they not knowing what the outcome could be. But for those who are just going to do it just because it's right, then be aware of what you're doing. Again, know your spots. You don't necessarily have to jeopardize or risk your life just to try to save multiple lives. Sometimes you just got to know when a situation needs to be diffused. And always remember that when you got certain situations along those lines, they could be armed some way, somehow. So don't be the aggressor if you're not prepared to combat or you're not prepared for the unexpected. And before I do get up out of here tonight, take my time to wish all the Libra babies a happy birthday if you're celebrating this week. And I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight for the convo. Hold on, birthday babies, I ain't forget about you. And hopefully you enjoy your birthday weeks. Again, keep creating the greatest memories for as long as you here. You know, And exactly, James, for everybody who's in the path of that hurricane that's sliding through, again, make sure you and your family is well preserved and safe. You know, and if you have to evacuate, make sure you do so and gather all the things that you need before you just decide to leave. Because there are certain things you might not be able to replace, at least not right away. And if they're important, you're gonna need them. But appreciate everybody that tuned in. Appreciate everybody that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And yes, I'm gonna revisit this conversation again. We got to start bringing back community awareness and unity within the fight. We have to, because right now, again, we have greater scenarios that are showing us a turbulent time in life right now. Can't let it continue to be this turbulent. You know, at some point, we're gonna have to start regaining that advantage, and that advantage should be this: we should never put in place certain personal things ahead of the main important thing. Main important thing is safety and awareness, right? Try to give that back. Again, when some of y'all see that there's a situation, especially when you know you can outnumber that person, hey, if it's for the right reasons, then you do what's necessary. And if you're not going to be hands on, then hey, you should be calling NYPD or calling anybody for that. That no matter where you at, calling for police and calling for some form of help just in case. Got to get back to that. And most likely I'll see y'all tomorrow afternoon for the early cypher. And for those follow me on Clapper, I'll see y'all tomorrow night at 6. Always a blessing to bring sun to the people, and that's what we're going to keep doing. Let me get up out of here. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Oh, shoot, my fault. Karaoke night, oh, snap. Somebody out there getting it in. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay game. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. Everybody that was in attendance tonight, you already know that love is love and it'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm going to do is give you real topics and real builds. And yes, I shall see you tomorrow. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evenings. Y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. Oh, wait a minute. I can't let y'all go out like that. I can't let y'all go out like that. I forgot. I can't do that. I can't do it. For the email that's coming. You know, I ain't got no damn sense. One more again.
5, 6, 7, 8. You a baddie, the type I appreciate. With no makeup, you looking good in the face. Natural body, I'm loving how it's shaped. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hoes coming in, so I gotta bring the guys with me. Said they get the dirty outside. Heard they was some freaks, so I had to bring it down with me. Oh, you with it? I'm gone. Come to the bathroom, give me that dome. Yo, man's get the tripping, birdie. Hit him.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Don't encourage the madness, man. Don't encourage the damn madness. Well, yeah, encourage it. Encourage it. First ever AI Nations Awards is coming. Hey, it might be around New Year's. Oh, for vagabonds that came in here earlier. I wish certain people would grow up and get a life, but again, we keep speaking about this. People not growing up and getting a life. At some point, you're gonna have to unplug from stupidity and start plugging into reality. You know, never think that you're gonna disturb content or try to get under my skin. And again, your little second grade troll tactics get worse and worse now. Think you're starting to go a little C now. Somebody pray for his scout, her scout, anybody's scout. Because we still gonna keep bringing his word, whether you like it or not. But yeah, let me get up out of here. Y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. And until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.